Welcome back to the Perfect Storm Market Timing Trading Room channel. So on the upper part of this chart, what we have here on the Excel sheet, you can see the three lines. There's a green line, a blue line, and a grayish black line. The green line is our longer planetary trend indicator. The blue line gives us the medium trend, and the gray line gives us short moves in the market. And the spikes on the high side or the low side tend to be turning points on the intraday chart. So what we're looking for to be bullish, we're looking for the green line to be moving upward or to be above zero. And then for intraday swing trades, what we want to do is find the areas where the blue line, the medium trend, is bottoming out and then starts an up move that will indicate a bullish trend. Where the blue line is at a peak and starts moving downward will indicate a bearish trend. So you can see on the current chart here, we're going to take a look at three charts from last week, October 12th, 13th, and 14th. What you can see on this chart here, the green line is above zero, kind of hanging around the 10 line for this particular part of the day. The blue line is made a low, and we're going to look at the spikes on the gray line in that time area where the blue line is at its low. And you can see we've got this spike right here at 6:04 a.m. This is all New York time where the market trades. This is the ES contract, the S&P 500. If you look at the corresponding price chart below on our Ninja Trader screen here, you see the red arrow trend lines marked, which are indicating the trend direction. And you can see how the market itself is following that trend, and we get this upward move that lasts from 6 a.m. up until about 2:45 or so in the afternoon. Generally, what happens is on the Excel chart here, you'll see that we have the initial move up on the blue line, then the blue line kind of comes back down and then makes another push up. The reason this trend carries for the bulk of the day is because as the blue line starts to decline, the green larger planetary trend moves up. That helps carry the momentum through into the afternoon. And then when the green line peaks, the blue line turns back up for the medium trend, and that carries us through into the 3 o'clock hour. The other important part of this chart that I want to demonstrate on this video here is, look at the area on the Excel sheet that I have circled in red. Where the blue line is tracking on the zero line, it's really a flat area with no directional indication for the market. If you look at the corresponding area on the price chart below, you can see from the text note, the blue line was flat on the zero line from 2:14 to 4 a.m. And you can see on the corresponding price chart that the market was flat in that same time period. That's a good indication of a no trade zone and an indication of an area to stay away from trading. Moving to October the 13th, you can see the Excel chart above with the price chart below. And what we have here, we've got these trend lines marked on the Excel sheet of potential trade areas with timing, exact timing indications set by the spike peaks and valleys on the gray line, which is our fast trend indicator. And then we have the same time periods marked with trend lines on the price chart on the Ninja Trader chart below. Or actually, this one is a trade station chart. So what we're looking at here on the first trend line move, right after midnight up until 2:23 in the morning, we have a nice uptrend. We've got the green line above the zero line, the blue line above the zero line. The green line goes flat, but the blue line moves up. So we've got that decent upward trend from 12 minutes after midnight to 2:23 in the morning. The next trade sets up with the green line flatlining on zero. The blue line has peaked here, And at 3:03 a.m., the gray line comes into a spike peak, which indicates that we could take a short in that area. And that's indicated down here on the price chart, right at the 304 bar, where we can take that short and catch that move down. Now that move down runs till 3:36 a.m. and that sets up a potential long trade, but that's not necessarily a trade we're going to take because our green line has moved down into negative territory and our blue line has also started a downward move. So the better trade is to wait for the 545 spike peak on the gray line. Now we have the green line and the blue line moving downward, and we get a trigger at 545, which is this high, the early morning high on the price chart, which sets up a nice short trade to 6:58 a.m. So that one sets up really nice. Then the next setup we get a slight upward move on our gray and blue line, and then they both start to turn down again. And we've got a gray line spike peak at the open right at 9:30, setting up a real nice short. And we've got an expected low at 11:05 a.m. and that is indicated, the 9:30 to 11:05 area is indicated on the price chart with this trend line where my cursor arrow is at. Then the last significant trade on this day sets up at 14:42 in the afternoon. We've got the blue line has started moving up already for a couple of hours. The green line is going to bottom out and turn back up. So we're looking for these spike peaks to trigger a long. So at 14:42, we get a long trigger after this massive decline that lasted almost all day. We get a trade trigger on the second bar after the low that sets us up for this nice long trade for the rest of the day, right up until the close. The last chart that we're going to look at on this video is the October 14th chart, the Excel on top again. You can see the indicator, and then at the bottom we have the price chart. You can see when the green line is flatline on zero, we get a peak on the blue line, and we are getting spikes here and here. The second spike is at the area of a high at 2:47 a.m. That sets up a short trade that ends up being a really good swing for the whole day. You can see that the blue line moves down all the way with the price chart to the area of that low around 12:39 in the afternoon. So what we're looking at there is the green line is flat to slightly bullish, and that gives us a little bit of a cross current. They're both not ideally trending in the same direction. So what that tells us is we're going to get some corresponding moves in the opposite direction. That's why we took some heat here. You can see where the market moves up and makes a new high after our short was triggered by the blue line. And you can see that that corresponds in time with this bump up on the green line. And then after that upward reaction plays out, the short trend continues. So that thing moves all day long. The second part of this chart is at the 10:07 area here. We get a 2-hour trade triggered by our ninja indicator, which corresponds with the spike peak here at 10:07, which is noted here on this 10:09 bar on the 1-minute chart that sets up the big waterfall decline, which was pretty easy to identify with both our indicators. So that'll do it for today. That's this week's video. I'll be back next week with another video showing some other trend indications from this Excel chart.